This can change your life, people. This could radically change your life because there are so many things that don't go the way we want. How do you get an ROI on the events in your life? How do you get a return on your investment on the events in your life? And I really think that it has a lot to do with leadership. And leadership has character traits that are mostly learnable versus what a lot of people think is that I'm not a born leader. And leaders are created, they're not born. Leaders are responding to events in their life, and they respond in a way that lets them get a return on that event. And I got a couple of stories for you, and then I'll give you a couple of tactics on how I think you can develop your ability to get a better return on all the events in your life. So one of the things that birthed this idea for me was watching the Michael Jordan series. And Michael Jordan had a way of turning almost everything, even making it up in his own mind, into something that pitted him against the competition, the crowd, the other team, that had him rise up and get something out of that event. If he lost the game, he was going to play it till the dying seconds. If he had the flu or food poisoning, he was going to push through, and he was going to still perform at his best and find a new edge. He used every event that happened to him to find another side of himself. And I want to invite you to do the same thing. So yesterday I'm on a leadership call with my team, and somebody pops in the middle of our meeting. And one of the first things that I suggest that you do if you want to get the most out of life and the most out of every event in your life is pay attention. Like literally pay attention. If you've done any NLP, you talk about sensory acuity. If you've done any body language reading, you can do that. 55% of a person's communication is done with their body. So you can read different people. So we're on this Zoom call, and then boom, up pops this guy. And we're all like, who is this? And you know how it says, okay, connecting to audio, and the video's not in yet. And then poof, this guy appears sitting at a coffee table with a really big poster on the back or a painting on the back with a really good motivational saying. And I'm like, I'll just use the word named John. I'm like, hey, John, what's going on? And he's like, I don't know what I'm doing here. And I'm like, well, there must be a reason you're here. It looks like you're into personal development. I noticed the quote on the back of your wall. You look sharply dressed. You look, you're ready to make something happen. He goes, I'm always hoping to make something happen. And he goes, Rock Thomas. I've heard that name a lot. And I'm like, well, cool, man. Well, he goes, I'm in real estate. I go, I am too. We start chit-chatting. Long story short, I got his phone number and email and an appointment to talk to him about one of my businesses. Pay attention. Be in positive anticipation that something great's going to happen. I'm going to say that again. Be in positive anticipation that something great is going to be happening. In fact, be looking around like, what's about to happen? Hey, something great's going to happen. Oh, yes, right? Be ready for life. The good, the bad, the ugly. Be ready and be looking for the asset. Be looking for the asset, not the liability, not the negative thing, not it's COVID, not it's I lost my job, not it's I'm down $10,000, not it's I lost this income. What is great about that experience? What is about to rebirth? What is about to come up? What is God sending you? What opportunity, possibility could you create out of nothing? When you start to develop that attitude, then you start to feel more confident, feel more excited. You care less about what the circumstances are outside because you know you're going to turn it around. You may have heard me tell the story of once I went to play squash, and it was on a team, I was competing, and I forgot my shoes. And I looked around the gym and I found a pink shoe at Lost and Found. I put the one pink shoe on, I played barefoot, and I beat his ass. Because my positive anticipation, my paying attention, deciding I'm there to serve, to say yes, and to be in that flow moving forward, had much more possibility baked into it than going, I forgot my shoes, and being unresourceful. Does that make sense, peeps? Does that make sense? Are you with me? If it does, give me some stars, some likes, give me some comments, post up there, let me know that you're with me. This can change your life, people. This could radically change your life because there are so many things that don't go the way we want. True or true? And you spend a lot of energy CBC, right? Criticizing, blaming, complaining, RJ, rationalizing, justifying, why it should have been another way, why you got fucked over, why things aren't fair. And it's all, if you look at the neuroscience, you're burning calories, spending valuable energy, literally in the form of calories, telling and talking and wishing it was a different way. So one of the first things you can do is grace and gratitude, grace and gratitude, grace and gratitude. Say that, grace and gratitude. Type that in, grace and gratitude. Use my line for now until you come up with yours. Grace and gratitude. I remember being in an airport once and thinking, I was working away, and then they announced the flight's delayed 4 hours, we got to change the gate. And I literally stood up and I went, yes! And people looked around at me as I was crazy, and I was to realize where I was, and I thought, maybe I'm a little bit crazy. But part of me didn't care, and I got that from my mom. My mom's a little bit crazy, God bless her. And I decided, what's great about this, right? There's another question you can ask yourself. So number one, pay attention. Get ready to say yes. Decide that this situation will serve you. And now go on a scavenger hunt. Go on that scavenger hunt and look for what is a possibility. I remember walking around looking for somebody I was going to go meet, and I walked down, and there he is. I got him on my podcast, and he's a very popular author. And I just walked up and said, hey, we're supposed to meet. He goes, we are? And I go, yeah. He goes, very cool. Because I had that positive anticipation, right? Grace and gratitude, grace and gratitude, grace and gratitude, right? You choose your sentence that immediately puts you into feeling grateful for that situation. And the grace for me is that there's a higher power serving me, guiding me, bringing me down an uncharted path, an invisible way for me to go. I drove an hour and a half to go visit my daughters who were with their mom at the time near a ski resort. We went skiing, and I forgot. Well, I had two left shoes, two left boots for my snowboard. One was my wife's, and her foot was considerably smaller than mine, so I thought I can't ski. Long story short, I said, what's great about this? I paid attention, grace and gratitude, decided it will serve me, and I squeezed my foot into one, but I couldn't put it in the binding. And normally daddy races down the hill and is ahead of the kids and is at the bottom going, hurry up. 8 and 10-year-old girls that are a little bit fearful. Well, daddy had to slow down this time. Daddy spent more time closer to the girls. And at the end of the day, they told me they had the best ski day ever. Grace and gratitude. Sometimes there's a higher reason serving you. There's things that you can use around you all the time. I remember when I was training to be a trainer for T. Harv Eker, and they put you through intense boot camp, and they make it really tough with you, and you rehearse, and you get feedback in front of you, and then you go on the road and you become an assistant trainer. And as an assistant trainer, you're doing certain pieces that are really easy, warm-ups and stuff like that. And you get coached by the lead trainer. And some of the lead trainers were really cool, and some of them were downright freaking a-holes. And this one a-hole that I worked with a lot was really either jealous or intimidated by me or on an ego trip, whatever it was, doesn't really matter. But he would have me come up to his room while he was in the penthouse and eating sushi. He would have me come up and like a little jumping monkey practice my little skits or my chunks in front of him, and then he would just freaking cut me apart. And it was really hard to say grace and gratitude. He even once put me on stage for the wrong information and then called the head office and had them look at that film and say he sucks. And this is the type of thing I went through. But guess what? Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Decide it will serve you, right? Say yes to opportunities, step up, look for the gift within it. And it taught me resilience. It made me incredibly, I could go on any stage, anytime with no warning, and I could deliver valuable chunks because I've been through a boot camp. But the decision happens before the event, and it happens by you being ready for what you don't know will happen and having it serve you. I remember a branch fell right off our tree in the backyard about 10 days ago, and I was like, grace and gratitude. Firewood, good chance for me to exercise, get that saw out that I have, hand saw, right? Sweat a little bit. Awesome. It's how you look at things, deciding that you're going to look at things in a way that are going to serve you. That's it. And then asking yourself great questions and directing your focus. What's great about this? How do I use this? And it doesn't matter what it is. The only thing that limits you is your own creativity. You can say there's nothing great about getting a root canal. Yeah, you could say that. And maybe you meet a dentist and you end up marrying them, right? W. Mitchell got burned on 90% of his body when his motorcycle crashed under an oil tanker and it blew up in flames. He ended up marrying the nurse that took care of him. He ended up saying there was 10,000 things that I could do before the crash. Now there's 9,000. And when I focus on the 1,000, I can no longer do because my hands are burnt, charred stumps, and I'm paralyzed from the waist down. I'm depressed. When I focus on the 9,000 I can do, I feel excited and I feel grace and gratitude. So it really is up to you to be conscious of your inner narrative, where you're going to direct your focus, what you're going to pay attention to, decide that things are going to serve you because you were built to serve anyway, and then utilize that. So maybe you're doing it right now with your exercise routines at home because you can't go to the gym and you're using more plyometrics, using your own body. And you realize that maybe I don't need to go to the gym. Maybe I'm the type of person that can do it and work from home and save myself a little extra money. So there's a million things that you can do. There's a million things that most people don't do. But at the end of the day, the leader will decide that this will serve them. A military general does not go, boo, hoo, hoo. They blew up one of our tanks. We're going home. We don't want to play anymore. They pivot. They access more resources. They command and demand that the people on their team become more resourceful. And you can do the same thing with yourself, is to command and demand that you become more resourceful, that you will have this situation serve you, that you will not apologize for being outstanding in discovering what is going to make that situation work. You are not going to be like the masses and go, this sucks, this is shitty. You're going to use it and turn it into an asset. You're going to get an ROI on everything that happens to you. The good, the bad, the ugly. You're going to decide that everything's going to serve you. You're going to be the type of person that steps up and then even enjoys stepping into a mud puddle, whatever it is. Stop the CBC RJ. Criticize, blame, complain, rationalize, justify. Instead, grace and gratitude. Find the reasons why your life is so epic. Decide that everything is going to serve you so that you can step up and grow. And it doesn't mean that things aren't going to be frustrating. Sometimes I do some recordings and my technology doesn't work and I get stuck doing a lot of stuff I don't love and I get upset and I swear and I get frustrated. But it doesn't last as long as it used to. So my suggestion to you is this. Pay attention. Look for how a situation can serve you. Say yes to opportunities that come from it. Ask yourself what's great about this. And then lean in and find a way to get a return on everything that happens in you, to you, with you, through you, and be the leader for your epic life.